uh, my Windows 8, and is it really worth putting it back together? And yeah, it is, just because I've got the parts, and it's a fairly decent laptop and things, and I have a workstation to go with this. It's just and the value of this, because the processor is 1.48 gigahertz, and a lot of laptops and PCs are being sold by the CPU's speed, um, and the 1.48 doesn't go past like $75. I mean, there are, just because of the Wi-Fi speeds nowadays, and just even processing and stuff. And this one has like a 2.48, or it's got above a 2 point. It's a pretty good laptop with a processor, with the BIOS that I've been getting into it or something like that. Um, but you know, with these hard disk drives, I got 500 gigabytes. They're really old hard disk drives, so if I could kind of get a system, this Lenovo um, N585, the 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 panel at the bottom was perfect for kind of testing and swapping out the RAM and the hard disk drive. This one, I've got to take off the keyboard. I've got to take off, the pretty much some of the covering and things like that. So, you know, it was just, it would be interesting if I hooked up a 8.1 hard drive into a window, this one, and even with this one, just to have a running computer, and things like that. So that's what I kind of test with my old systems, is other hardware that I could find or pick up and stuff. But I also bought a few items in 2025. I bought a 500 gigabyte external hard drive, and a Windows 11, 10, 8, and 7 flash drive, or boot disk as they would call it. Sometimes it may work. I tested it on this other laptop, which I actually was, asking for something like this. And it's going to be interesting when I open this up. So I took down some of their information. I might need the boot disk or restart this, just because I can't get into any of the programs for now. Target device and boot or restart the device. After the startup, press delete or 12, delete F2, F8 on Windows setup. So I got to set this up. English. So next, install now. Repair your computer. Setup is starting. So that's a good sign that it's detecting some devices and stuff like that. Windows that start normally, insert installation media. So repair your computer. So restart your, turn off, reset your PC, or see advanced issues. Fix problems that keeps Windows from loading. System user restore point. System image recover window using a specific. Have a few things. Hardware software change might be the cause. Insert your Windows and restart your, choose your language. Continue valid information. So it is throwing off just really complicated. Some more parts off of this. This was actually a 2014 model, so it's got a few ports. I bought the adapter for this, which was a 20 volts, 3.25 amp, stuff like that. This basically brand new, would have been powered on, and there's a forward-facing camera. It looks like it could be like a really big laptop. Can't really. YouTube, welcome to Upside DIY. So this, I think it's a C260 workstation. It's made in 2014. It's got really nice ports and stuff. I bought the power adapter, uh, you know, and things. It powers on. I have to hook up a keyboard and a mouse and stuff like that to. But the hard drive is locked. It's got a 500 gigabyte hard drive. And I've got to try to find probably like a Novo key or Novo button, or even swap out the hard drive if I could. Uh, this was sitting outside, so I'm probably going to try to open it up or clean it up on the outside first and things like that. I found this, and also with cleaning the hard drive and stuff, or even looking up if anybody's taking one of these apart, and it's pretty nice. And if I could like bypass the boot system and do a factory reset and clear the hard drive, and the hard drive works, and I could plug in like a USB. It's got a micro SD and things like that. I could plug in, you know, just an external hard drive, add more. But the only thing is, it's got a keyboard to it. I mean, I've got to keep this with a keyboard and a mouse and things. And basically, sometimes if the hard drive is locked, eventually the computer system itself is going to crash. You actually should get a brand new, or I should get a brand new hard drive. I also have another like PC that's missing a hard drive, so there's a lot of PC stuff. I'm not really like, I mean, I've always been into computer. Few ports. I bought the adapter for this, which was a 20 volts, 3.2. This basically brand new, would have been roughly $400. It's you know, the stand and everything. It looks, and I did power it on, and there's a forward-facing camera. It's in system. If everything were, you know, running good and reliable, but so I'm using this special type of brush. It works really good. It's really flexible. It's got a lot of surface. I sprayed this with my really good disinfectant. So I really, you know, was getting really tired of this. Really needed some fixing. I already did this, and then I basically air it out with compressed air from my air compressor. Luckily, that hair dryer, you could probably do it. But this wire brush really gets into really good spots, I think, with the circumstances, you know, especially cleaning, I mean, and stuff. Something on this screen, and also with the air compressor, just really gets into a lot of the finer spots that not a lot of other ways can actually. So then I handle, for the most part, with this, so with this just a piece of paper. So yeah, definitely all types of crevices, and this is getting a really fresh um, feel to it being cleaned up, and you know, and I kind of uh, basically let it dry for the next day. Just any progress, and then you know, kind of you know, having or anything that kind of gets done, I kind of kind of, and then I basically, and then after this, after I get everything cleaned up, I have the display cleaned up, but I'm gonna finish this up, actually clear up anything and just lay it on top of here, and maybe later on I'll turn it to the other side. So I'm gonna air compressor this. All right, so it's pretty much good, I think, and then just let it dry, and then I'm going to basically try to practically reassemble, and then I have the display cleaned up. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Upside DIY. So this found it just to keep it shiny, and this is a fairly old monitor or screen, but it's really lightweight, or it's well made for what it is. You know, but I try to. I mean, I started prying off the bezel, and then I just cleaned up the inside. Just wherever I pried off, I couldn't get the bottom part and things, and deal with some of the situations. I could have pried it off, but I just didn't want to force anything around the hinges, or I didn't really see too much of an issue. I mean, even though the display stopped turning on, maybe the whole computer or something, or maybe this wire could have some of the wires, and even maybe this computer is kind of not gonna be the same, but just because of how old it was and things. But I harvested it. I might even like keep everything, or put like I you know like I'm kind of planning is to put everything back together and then try to test it. But it's just as it is. I could harvest pretty much the RAM and the hard drive, mix and match with the workstation, and even if the workstation is just a bunch of testing, and that brings me to the last part, is doing all this testing and taking apart. It does take day after day of you know it's just pretty fun just to source out the tools at first. It's not like you like it's not like these laptops. I'm gonna actually try to fix bicycles and do way other stuff. It's just sometimes just what's available and stuff, and I just practice this and that, and kind of hope that nothing goes wrong. But if anything does, I'll have some knowledge of doing something like this. And it's just basically just swapping out RAM and hard drives, cleaning this stuff up, um, and even starting and booting a lot of